Arlene, second Cris Cyborg fight week for you, where you're opposite her. Does it feel any different this time around?
Yeah, heaps different. I feel like I'm ready. Even the fact that I've stepped across the cage from her, I know what I'm in for this time. I know what the power she brings. I know the intensity that she brings. So ready to do round two and get my hand raised.
First time around, I think you just kind of touched on it there, but was there any nervous energy when you went in there the first time with her that you think will be alleviated just having gone through the motions and been in there and seen her and felt her power, stuff like that?
I don't think the nervous energy, that was definitely nothing that I was struggling with last fight at all. I was actually happy with my mentality and how focused I was, and at no stage did I look across from her from fight week and even the first round and everything like that and go, oh my God, shit, like what have I got myself in for? Like I was ready, I was there to fight. So I feel like I've picked up technically, I'm more skilled now. And just, ready to bring that aggression. I think that's what was lacking last fight. Anger fist didn't show up. She was mentally there, but just not physically there.
And you're a big underdog coming into this fight, which I think is pretty familiar territory. Anytime somebody fights Cris
100%.
Cyborg, that happens. But so for people that look at this and they say, "Hey, we just saw this fight. How would it go differently this time?" What would your response be?
Well, if anyone's an MMA fan, I mean, history has just shown recently that the major upsets are quite doable. They're achievable. No one would have thought Pena would have beaten Nunes. Like, she was a major underdog too, and look what she came out and did. Like, she shocked the world. And as an Australian, we love being an underdog. There's been some big fights in history. I've got teammates that have shocked the world. So, yeah, I'm ready to do that. I let a moment slip by in 2020 when I had the first opportunity, and I'm grateful that I've got the second opportunity to go in there and just get the job done.
From a technical standpoint, what did you identify from that first time that you guys fought as the issue or whatever led to ultimately the defeat?
The lack of aggression. I just coasted in that first round just to sort of see what was like what she was sort of ready to throw at me, and I was happy the fact that I got back up off the ground and survived the first round sort of thing, considering I didn't throw anything back. Like, I mean, when you look at the strike ratios, like what she threw and landed compared to what I did, this time's definitely the aggression. I really do just have to be anger fist and do what I do to my other opponents. Whenever I face someone that's ranked lower than me, I go out there and I'm aggressive because I don't want my ranking taken. I want to cement my number one ranking, and then I face girls that are above me, Marloes Kunin, Julia Budd, and now Cris Cyborg, and sort of like freeze and think, I've got to take it to them. Be anger fist.
Hi, Arlene, over here. A few months ago, how confident were you that you were going to get the title shot when you have names like Kat Zagano and Kavanaugh in the mix over there?
Yeah, and even adding Kayla Harrison into that too. I was just as shocked as everybody else. Super grateful, obviously. Number one ranking, I knew eventually I would work my way back up to the title, but was not expecting it to be April this year. So, but I train all year round. I'm prepared. We've been training for Cris Cyborg since the last time we fought. Even when I was training for my last two opponents last year, in the background we were already working the game plan for Cris.
You mentioned Kayla Harrison. She didn't decide. She didn't join the Bellator roster. What do you have to say about that? Of her not getting the challenge to face all you girls at featherweight?
You know what? I don't have too much of an opinion on what anyone else does in their career. She's making the right moves for her and her career at the moment. It's hard to sort of know what exactly happened. There's obviously news articles and rumors and this and that, but she's doing what's right for her. Like, good on her. She's she's an established athlete. She's got a massive career in front of her. I definitely won't ever be one fighter that sort of bags out anybody else. Awesome if she ever comes over to the Bellator roster. If not, good, all the best for her career.
Should you get this win, do you think an immediate rematch is in play for this fight, considering?
100%. Definitely. She deserves it. She's a champion, and that'll also be a money fight for me too. So, but you know what? In all seriousness, my first job is this Saturday night. We're not thinking about the rematch or what happens after this fight. I'm not even thinking about what's happening after this fight. For me, it's all about Saturday night and celebrating after the win, and then after that going home and just enjoying some downtime.
Hey Arlene, Jared Wilson here. We talked on my podcast a few months ago, and I know that you're a big energy person. So right now, winning 5 of 6, do you feel like you're in your physical prime right now? Do you feel like in the best shape physically and mentally you've ever been in your life?
Definitely. I turned 39 last week, which is like I guess to anybody outside would be like, holy shit, she's coming towards the end of her career. But again, like there's a 42-year-old UFC champion. Age is just a number. It really is. Like I'm lucky to train with athletes who are older, and I feel like I'm getting better. I am getting better. I train smarter than I definitely was 13 years ago when I first started. I focus on the things that I need to focus on, quality over quantity and everything like that. So, yeah, age is literally a number.
For sure. And what would it mean to you to win the belt and bring it back to Australia?
Absolutely everything, and that's constantly what I keep reminding myself. When you talk about having to dig deep inside the cage and those gritty moments that's at the forefront. Winning the Bellator world title has been, and it's eluded me for the last 5 years since it just slipped through my hands when I fought Julia. So it's it's what I want. It will be everything that I want in my career. So, and that's the very reason I'm not looking past Saturday night, is there won't be another bigger moment than winning the Bellator world title.
And I know a lot of people don't know the sacrifices you make. I know you train in Albuquerque, but you live in Australia. How hard is that on you, being away from your family and kids, and how was this training camp?
So for the first question, it's hard being. I'm a family person. Like I love being at home with my family, being the mum, being there for every moment with the kids. And last year I gave up 6 months of that, and I felt with a few things it was a price that I paid. It was 6 months, like half a year out of both of my kids' lives that I don't get to you don't get time back. And as my kids get older, my daughter turned 21 on Tuesday and my son's 14, you realise just how quick the years go by. So for me, like every moment with them means the most. So I hate being away from them, but I'm lucky that they understand the sacrifices I have to make, and the reason why I do this. Is to give both of them a better life. It's to give our family, like my partner, my kids, all of us to live a better life. So, and the second question for fight camp, it was awesome. It's going back to Albuquerque, training at Jackson Wink is just like being at home. Like I said, spent 6 months there last year, and it really is my second home, and it's, I get sad leaving there. I've got a good relationship with all of my coaches and training partners. I've got, friends there, recovery team, and it just felt like I was at home, obviously minus my family. They're very welcoming. Obviously the training camp itself, got to work with some amazing athletes. They've got a really, really good roster of featherweight and lightweight fighters in the male and female division that give me good rounds of training and sparring and preparation.
And what's it been like training with Clarissa Shields? I know you've got to see her evolution, and she's came so far already. What's that like training with her, and how do you think that's improved your stand-up, which was already good? Yeah,
for sure. Well, I'm not going to lie. For the first little bit, I was like, I don't know if I'm going to stand in front of this girl's hands. So she turned me into a bit of a wrestler, which was a good evolution for me, because we were great training partners with the rounds that we did, because obviously she needed to work with someone that was constantly trying to take her down, because obviously, everyone's going to try and take Clarissa down. You're not going to stand in front of her. And for me, I needed to try and add that element into my game, the confidence of, shooting for the takedowns. I haven't done that inside the Bellator cage yet, but it's been there. It's just, if I'm not doing it in training, I'm 100% not doing it in fight. So it was good for me to have those rounds with her. And you know what, even just being in the presence of, someone like Clarissa, who's done so much in her career, been at the top of, the amateur boxing world and now the professional boxing world, and just seeing how someone like that carries herself, and the confidence that she has, and she's a cool chick. She's an awesome chick.
Awesome. Thank you for your time, Arlene.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to the chat. Luke.
Hey Arlene, Luke from Empire Universe Media. How you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm great, thanks. This is, you've already fought Cyborg once, and this is your second shot at getting the title. Is there any extra pressure going into this fight, knowing that this is your second shot? Anything can happen in a fight.
That's something I've taken away from this fight camp is the pressure. I think that's something that in the past may have like stopped me from performing. You know, at the end of the day, like I choose to do this sport, you know, this career, and I just want to go in there and have fun. And when you have fun, that's when you perform. And yeah, no pressure. Like I mean, if anything, I think the pressure falls on her. She is the champion who's already defeated me. A rematch is, you know, dangerous territory for her because, you know, maybe she'll be underestimating me. Probably not though. But yeah, no pressure at all.
And second question for you is, you did previously mention that if you should win the belt, you would give her a rematch as well. So I understand you're focused on your fight, but is there any timeline that you would have? Like, would you be looking at the summer, fall?
Um, it's a good question. I actually haven't thought of it. Like I said, all focus is on Saturday night, but I mean, definitely this year. Like I like to fight, so I'd go home and have a bit of a rest. But I always say that, and then I'm back in the gym the very next week. So yeah, I would respect her for being a dominant champion and a dominant like MMA fighter. She's done a lot for the featherweight division. So be 100% rematch straight away, and yeah, I guess whenever Bellator would decide to do it.
Dylan?
Hey Arlene, thanks for taking the time. I got a bit of a weird one for you. In March 2019, you tweeted, "Hey, at Cris Cyborg, you still looking at having a pro boxing fight?" Fast forward 3 years and you're fighting her for the Bellator Women's Featherweight World Championship. So my question is, if someone told you back then that in 3 short years you'd be sitting where you are now getting ready to fight Cyborg for the title, what would you say to them and would you be surprised?
Yeah, all those memories keep popping up on my socials as well. And yeah, to be honest, my whole career's been like that. I would not have thought, 7 years ago when I signed with Bellator that I'd be sitting here in this position about to headline my third Bellator fight. When I first started MMA, it literally was a side sport because I was focusing on my boxing career. And if she's still down for a boxing fight, I'm 100% down for that too.
Eddie?
Hey Arlene, Eddie from KCFX.com. You are part of the main event. I mean, let's just keep it real. This entire weekend, the female fighters are headlining back-to-back cards with Bellator. Liz Carmouche's on the card, Juliana Damascus, you, Cris Cyborg, Janae Harding's on the card, Randy Field. What's it like to be part of the face of such a big weekend for Bellator?
I mean, it's huge. It's awesome for me. I always get asked about the transformation of women's MMA throughout my career, and this is a sign of that. We've, like you said, 2 back-to-back cards headlined by females, and the undercard with female fighters too. But yeah, for me personally to be that, like it's an honor. Like I said, my third Bellator card that I've headlined, it's massive. It's something that'll go on my resume, and yeah. I'm grateful for Bellator to have, that belief in me as a fighter too, to give me that opportunity and bring me here to Hawaii.